Welcome back. We'll talk about a few more DevOps/SRE interview questions geared towards junior positions, but some of them can be useful for senior ones as well. If you do like these videos, please like and subscribe. That helps me with the tools algorithm. Let's get started. The first question today is, what is your favorite CICD tool and why? So this should be a very fun question for you. The bread and butter of any DevOps/SRE person is the cloud and the CI/CD. How you take code that's ready for production and get it to production and deployed, right? That's what a CI/CD tool does. CI stands for continuous integration, and CD stands for continuous deployment. That means whenever the code is ready, you should be able to put them out to production whenever your organization decides to do so. Some companies do it daily. Some companies do it several times a day. Some companies do once a week, depending on how your pipeline is, right? But the goal is you should be able to do it like that all day, every day. That's the goal. Now, there are many, many tools. The most common one is Jenkins. However, slowly it is getting a little out of favor. There are tools like GitLab runners. There's good GitHub Actions. There's several more. However, there's Cloud Build, I think, in Google Cloud. And AWS has Cloud Code Pipeline, something like that. Either way, you should know one pretty well. Without having the knowledge of decent level of knowledge of a CI/CD tool, it's going to be hard for you to get your first DevOps/SRE job, because that's what a DevOps person do. That's in the middle of everything, right? So pick a tool: Jenkins, GitLab runners, GitHub Actions, whatever it feels right to you. You should learn enough about that so that you can talk about it in interviews, and even better if you write your own pipelines. Even if it's a simple one, you should be able to talk about that during the interview. Next question: have you used Ansible? If not, what have you used in its place? In the previous video, I talked about configuration management, of which Ansible is a tool. It's probably the most common tool for configuration management, which is basically OS and operating system and up. Even though Ansible is widely used, it is easy, but also kind of weird in some way, where it's not intuitive, sometimes not intuitive, and so on and so forth, but it is the most common one. If you're going to learn configuration management, which you should pick a tool, probably Ansible, because that's the most common one. In years in the past, Chef, Puppet, and Saltstack, those were used, even though Saltstack really wasn't used in production much. But Chef and Puppet have become very unpopular these days because it's too complicated for the problem that is solved. Ansible will be easier to deal with. So you should be able to talk about at least one configuration management tool. Probably Ansible is my answer. So learn about that, know about it a little bit, so you can talk about it in the interview. Last question for today is, what is a LAMP stack, right? This is kind of an old question. I was actually asked this question in an interview when I was interviewing for DevOps roles. Back then, this LAMP stack was still kind of popular. It's still today even. Maybe not so much the PHP parts, but let me explain this. So when you are deploying your application on top of a container or virtual machine, you need your operating system, in this case Linux. You need a web server, in this case Apache. You need a database, in this case it's MySQL, and you need some kind of language that wrote the code in the first place, like PHP or Java, JavaScript, something like that. Maybe, I don't know, 6 to 10 years ago, this stack, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, was very popular because it was the most, in those layers, those are the most popular tools available at that time. Things have changed a lot these days. However, you should know about this stack, or at least one stack that you should be able to be comfortable talking about it. But might as well pick this. For LAMP stack, you use Linux as your operating system. You use Apache as your web server. you use MySQL as your backend database, and you use PHP for your programming language that serves up the pages. Nowadays, like I said, there are many other stacks that are more popular, but at least you should know what a LAMP stack is. In addition to that, you should know a stack that you are comfortable with, right? How would you put something in production that is served up as part of a web server? All right, I hope you find this video useful. If you do, please like and subscribe. That helps me with YouTube's algorithm. And I will see you in the next DevOps SRE interview video.